How's it going, everybody? Moses here with an update to our shield pistol character. I changed some stuff, and the two major things are instead of the anomaly shield that I had, I actually sold it for lots of gold, and now I have 130 million gold. I sold the shield for 100, and second thing, I change from Havoc Orb that started to show some problems, some issues. Not just when it comes to damage, but also like targeting. Sometimes melee targets would have some issues actually getting targeted with this skill because it has a minimum range of hit. So you need to be a little bit further away from the monster you're trying to hit because otherwise the shot will just pass the target and won't actually hit it. So it was kind of awkward against certain targets, and decided to go back to Gunslinger. And what I didn't know is that the last mod here allows to fire all shots when the skill is used. So instead of you know right clicking and then left clicking 10 times, you immediately release 10 shots, right? So the mods we're using here is +5 targets, automatically target enemies in a cone in front of you, increase critical chance and damage for each element stack an enemy has, and we are stacking multiple ailments multiple times on enemies. So against the bosses, in the end, this will actually start ramping up, and we'll start dealing lots of damage. Damages bounce back. This gives us gives us a lot of AOE over here for these two Gunslinger mods, right? So this one actually deals AOE, increases slightly the rage cost, and if an enemy suffers a crit, damage is bounced back to the first enemy targeted. So yeah, that's some seriously good AOE clear. So these are the mods we're using, and it makes Gunslinger like it's a blast, right? You just right click and it releases all the things, all the shots like immediately. So that's something I learned today, and it's been a freaking hell of a stream. Like, we've been grinding for about 10 hours, 9.5 hours. I didn't even realize how time flies super quickly. And yeah, the second thing was instead of the anomaly shield, we now have an Aether Jump Shield, and this one has really decent block efficiency. Double roll of block efficiency, flat and percentage, so we get like 41% block efficiency, which is really hard to get otherwise. You do get it from the tree, and our overall block efficiency hit the maximum value, which is 75%. It is somewhere, where is it? Right here. So block chance 97.7, so nearly 100%. That's not the big deal. The big deal is to get that value up. And even that is not particularly hard. These shields are craftable. You can get Genesis Stones. As a matter of fact, I've crafted quite a few of them. I have here one with like 35 block chance and like 31 block efficiency with Aether Jump. Can you see it? You cannot. These two Genesis Stones will do the trick. And GOs, so you just gotta buy the base and you get yourself a shield like that, much cheaper than anomaly shields, and overall does the trick. What I like about this is that Aether Jump fills up your rage immediately and applies stasis, so you don't have to deal with any kind of Aether damage to attacks and to apply stasis this way, and that way you can get yourself a pure material damage that will roll higher because of the way the game works. Weapons have base physical damage roll to them, and that base physical damage gets multiplied by the material damage on attacks with this weapon. This is why material weapons will always have the best DPS, whether it's a two-handed axe for your bleeding edge, or a dagger or a bow, whatever it is, material damage will scale the best because of the initial flat physical damage the item rolls even before it rolls additional physical damage. Like maybe I can give you an example here. Yeah, see, this pistol has a base physical damage and then fire and shadow, right? Fire and shadow is not listed as a blue, explicit roll, but the physical damage is an implicit roll. In fact, that you can see over here. So every item has that. The higher quality the item has, the more stars the item has on it, the higher that base physical damage will be. So before you upgrade rares to legendaries, you have to make sure the item has 5 stars. So you put it over here in the dark market and increase the item quality. That's kind of like on a side note. So increase the item quality, it gets a little bit of extra flat physical twice because you want 5 stars, and then you increase item rarity, and then it turns into a legendary, and then you can spam GOs on it, craft it. That's how I got mine. That's how I got my weapon. I dropped it in a 187 or 188, whatever, and then upgraded it in that manner, and then spammed a bunch of GOs until we got this weapon. Alright, so back to the build, Gunslinger and Teleport. It allows you to really, you never run out of, I'm using now Willpower Potion. Whenever I want to escape, I just pop it. Pop it and I can like immediately teleport. Or if I'm running low on Rage, instead of teleporting, I can just pop that and continue hammering on the target. Outside of that, I learned another thing. When we're killing monsters, we will be getting bonus damage from Immortal Offering. Now that corresponds with the damage type of the element stack that the enemy had, right? So we will start getting bonus damage that will start skewing the tooltip of our skill. So what I mean is, this skill right now will give me burn and bleed, right? Wailing arrows. And on yesterday's video, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, when I first made this video on this character originally, I also had the turret because I liked the idea of converting damage to lightning. You see, converts the damage to lightning, right? So we would have had like lightning and I believe it was rend. See, it says shock and bleed. These would be the ailments, right? So I would have shock, bleed, burn, the weakness from this node right here gave me a sacred damage, and all of these corresponding damage bonuses that we would be getting from the Immortal Offering buff would then start messing around with the damage that the skill deals once I have the damage buff. And so what would happen is it would mess around with the element type that the original skill gave me, which meant that basically for the first 5 seconds of the dungeon, I could use the auto turret and get my lightning stacks from Immortal Offering. But then right after that, once I've gotten other damage bonuses, rend or poison would then outweigh the lightning damage the skill has, and then that would become the highest damage type for that skill, and it would no longer grant me the lightning shock ailment stacks that we'll be getting for the Immortal Offering. So I got rid of the auto turret because its entire purpose on my bar was to give me the lightning damage buff, which it no longer did. Same thing happened with Wailing Arrows, but the difference is that Wailing Arrows is actually doing substantial amount of damage and is a nice damage over time additional damage source that I can get, so I'm keeping it because it's doing good work. Initially I will get the burn stacks and sometimes it will hit. It's still a bit more consistent from compared to the auto turret, but not 100% consistent. There's some stuff going on there, and it's really hard to maintain the stacks. I will, in most cases, have between 4 or 5 different stacks of damage types. Rarely, I would also have 6 at the very beginning of the dungeon, and sometimes when I walk a long distance to let all the stacks reset. Sometimes I would have like 6 different types of bonus damage, but these would be like very rare altogether. Um, so yeah, when it comes to the skills, let's just go through. I added teleport with these modifiers here. I added wailing arrows remained. Mark of impurity is now level 79. So we have that working out for us. It spreads, makes enemies more vulnerable. When an enemy dies, it spreads to different targets. Um, Instantly kill enemies that are marked under 10%, more vulnerable to damage, longer duration, and increased ailment damage on marked enemies. I then also added Blood for Blood, which is a very strong skill overall when you can fit it into your build. And because the auto turret is now gone, we are now able to add Blood for Blood. Essentially, Blood for Blood will add another rend damage to all of your attacks, and will explode enemies when they have like less than 10%, will deal extra area damage. So this is incredibly powerful, and a little bit kind of like maybe laggy skill for some people, and even for me in the higher difficulty, when there were a lot of a cluster of maybe 30, 40, 50 mobs around me, these explosions did occur, but there were some issues with shots not hitting and damage not being dealt and all sorts of like these things and weird stuff happening. I still think it's worth it because for the most part it's fine. Rarely it's a bit messy. And then this I'm not entirely sure what it does, but like Blood for Blood really doesn't have any other better functionality, and it does add some more damage, so I'm using it. If you guys have any other suggestions, feel free to add. Mostly it's just like duration, cooldown, chance to inflict ailments on enemies. That's always good for our build. And then cast on the location of the cursor, so we can cast it on ourselves or on enemies. It's mostly just the utility to have unstable flesh for the most part. And then here we're getting all the buffs from Sovereign Shout, and then we already talked about the Gunslinger brand. So when it comes to the tree, some things have changed. I've picked up this 16 projectile damage node and these two 15 projectile damage nodes, which are quite substantial damage increases. We have all the material damage scaling that comes from these 3 nodes, pretty powerful overall. This, again, Sacred Oath allows us to apply weakness. We're always blocking, and we always have enemies with weakness around us, which is good for our Immortal offering and for, of course, damage reduction from weakness. Some block efficiency. Here we got a couple of block efficiency nodes, and then crit damage max health, couple of nodes here. Resist, Salvatory Anchor, elevated gains, and then Grievous Affliction to apply 2 elements. We talked about that. Immortal offering, of course. And then here I did not pick up Insidious Decay. I removed it because I'm like, I don't need it. What I do need is the plus 10 to increase number of maximum ailments, but I don't need the plus 2 ailment stacks inflicted because it's quite easier with Power of the First Men to double the number of ailment stacks. And on my gear, of course, we have the plus 1 here, plus 2 here, plus 1 and plus 1, so that comes to plus 5, right? So plus 5 sometimes multiplied, so it's quite a lot of elements, and quite quickly we ramp it up to 30. When it comes to the gear, I don't know if there were any changes. Maybe they were. Maybe I crafted. Oh, I think I did craft these really strong pants. Yeah. As a result of the crafting, I think I did the belt. Maybe I don't know. I'll just go through the gear for you guys to see. You can Um, oh yeah, I think I got a different ring without that flat fire because yeah I wanted to test out whether I could get the elements to have like but yeah it didn't end up being very good, but yeah I am quite happy with this ring so far. I could actually change it back maybe to the other one. Let's take a look. um, Yeah, I had this one with the damage to attacks and the all resists and the crit damage instead of this. Both of these have material damage, right? This one even has 143. So yeah, I think we will use it. It's a slight damage increase overall. 13.2, 12.1. Yeah, the flat damage here kind of helps us. What convinced me though is the all resists. Yeah, same amount of total crit damage. Both of these rings are solid. This one just yeah. I was trying to see with if I remove the fire damage to attacks, if I'm able to maintain the ailment stacks, but it gets messed up because Mortal Offering keeps adding different types of damage, so you can't be consistent with what type of ailments you can get. That was like the original. That was like the original issue. So yeah, shoulders, we have like bruiser here, heavy helmet, um, some wisdom for the element chance score. And I mean, these shoulders are just like so great, so I ended up just going with that. I want to see what happens if I reset all attributes. I get 46% chance to crit. And 130k life. 743. It's kind of funny when you think about it. Losing 20% crit and like literally almost tripling my tripling my HP. Should we do it? For the lulz. 740 was the 775 if I go maximum. But yeah, I think I had like something like 56k, right? That's actually funny. 130k. Let's try it out. I mean, it's not that much of a difference. I mean, I guess it is. I'm losing like 3k sheet damage. Yeah, let's get back to our 56k. 56k is actually rather solid when you're blocking so much and you drop so much, from the incoming damage. So yeah, what didn't I go through? The weapon, I mean, I guess you've seen all the gear, right? Let's just do one last round in case I missed something. So you guys can slow-mo and see the gear. Alright. So, yeah, let's do just like one level of 163. I actually haven't tried any Untainted. Currently, what we've been doing, just to let you know, is like my recent expedition. I'm doing all the difficulties, right? Until we get, stuck in some difficulty. But like my recent expedition was 166. We finished it successfully, and then the next one should be 169. But let's do 163. Let's try and not have like extra. Oh, extra Aether damage. That's not good. We don't want stasis happening. Rage generation, move speed is always good. CC reduction is actually not very good for us because stasis, right? We don't want to extra shadow damage. Let's get that. Some movement speed. Let's go. Let's just do, you know, try and do like a one quick level. So yeah, when you first go in. Oh, by the way, just for you to see, Wailing Arrows on its own, uh, you know, it's actually doing quite a lot of like it's quite substantial damage. And yeah, these monsters don't even have stasis on them. So yeah, and not even a mark or anything like that. So oh, there's a champion here. So yeah, the strength of this build comes when there are lots of enemies. Um, and when there are a lot of enemies, Blood for Blood will start detonating, and you know, mark, and things will start blowing up. So yeah, sometimes you just like you don't really want to fight a single guy. You know, he's having a hard time being single anyhow. So let's just you know, let's just do that for a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the trash dies so quickly. Yeah. You also want to kind of like try and make sure that you have stasis happening. Honestly, Demon of Souls is like one of the most annoying monsters I could encounter. But you guys know it. It is an annoying monster, right? Yeah, this, see all these blocking happening? It's like constant blocking, a lot of damage reduction. Come on, just die. You and your 36 million HP. Oh, a map. Treasure location. Seems good. Alright. So yeah. Trash dies like basically quite immediately. See, right now we have like 5 different stacks of Immortal Offering on the bottom, just like over our health bar. Yeah, the one guy dies and then everything gets marked. And then we can pop up some willpower potions and move on to the next, you know. One thing that's nice you don't want to forget is to make sure to use your Sovereign Shout, because it will buff up your all of your other active buffs, which, you know, Immortal Offering is quite important. And, you know, your other things like the Mark and the Blood for Blood and all those other things. So this, I believe, is a dead end, but hey, we got a dude here. Yeah, you see, this guy goes down a lot quicker, because, yeah, I'm actually dealing damage to him. I don't have to wait. He's not like, you know, going underground boring and like, yeah. So this guy has like 33 million HP. That Demon of Souls had like 36 million. So there's a little bit of a difference in how long it takes to take down. It is an annoying mob type. But yeah, you guys know it. And it did. These towers needs to die. The minions from the towers don't give, I mean, maybe they give XP. I'm actually not sure about it. But in terms of like progression to the dungeon, they don't. So like no actual point in killing them at all. Also, yeah, you do, if you can, want to aggro like just a bunch of monsters and blow them up all at once with the like Blood for Blood. And yeah, always make sure to like pop stasis. Yeah, another tower, just like ignore it. So yeah, when you look at the bottom left side, you always see like the number of different immortal offering buffs that I got, and buff them up with the sovereign shout. So yeah, this is just like way better than Havoc Orb, honestly. If I were to change to Havoc Orb right now, like for a little while there, I changed. I had Havoc Orb, and I was using. I removed the stacking of ailments nodes because it wasn't giving me anything, but Gunslinger actually gives you damage, crit damage and crit chance per ailment stack on an enemy, so that's definitely worth having. But for Havoc Orb, like, you don't get any additional reason, like there's no other bonuses or anything like that. Um, so it's just like kind of a real pointless thing to do. So I'm talking about these two nodes, the +5/+5 and then the +5 here. But for the current build, it's definitely worth it. There's the boss. And it's the Demon of Souls. It's fine, we're gonna get him. Yeah, I do have the buffs. Damage will fall off once the buffs are gone. One of them is already down. I mean, I could also try and aggro some more minions here. This guy is cool because he adds more minions. He keeps summoning and then you can get stacks off of him. So yeah. But like, yeah, he just borrows and it's kind of annoying. Not the best showcase for the build, but I'm grinding all day, every day on Twitch, and you guys are, of course, always invited to join. This is now a Wolcen YouTube and stream, so this, yeah, our channel is fully dedicated to Wolcen, and we're going to be grinding and growing our community with the game. Hopefully, that the game will grow. Demon of Souls, please add like a 15-second cooldown to that skill or something. Let me kill it. So yeah, when the enemies explode, you see with the minions, blood for blood, you could really see the HP bar goes down on the boss. Yeah, so this was it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I really do enjoy this build and the way that we've built it. I do enjoy the Aether Jump a lot more than the Anomaly Shield. So yeah, wonderful stuff. This build so far, an actual blast, and we're going to level it up to 80 most likely. Oh yeah, and check this out. This is silly. I just did one expedition level, and I got like 20,000 productivity. Earlier, I had a 25% productivity quest up project, and then I did a 167, like I told you, and I did a full run, and I got like over 90,000 productivity from the one thing. Now that I got the gold, I got the last energy crystal mine for 5 million, and I just completed it today. So from like 900 it went up to 1,000. That's like your base productivity. So at this point, it doesn't matter what I do. I basically complete each and every one of the missions in just like one go. So yeah, good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're going to continue uploading Wolcen content, Haipu, and hope to see you guys on the Twitch streams. Thanks for watching. See you guys. Bye-bye.